Hello everyone, it is Christine here and I'm back for the second episode working on the vase of flowers prompt, the ginger jar vase or vase of your choice prompt for Roxy's Journal of Stitchery, the still life. And in the previous episode I showed you how to create a collage vase. Since then I have given it an iron without steam, so still it's just got the temporary sort of adhesive happening, and previously it was on my piece of baking paper, but now it is just peeled off there momentarily while we have a look at how it's going to work with various flowers. I'll work out its exact positioning on this back piece, which I also created in a previous episode, and I will link to that as well, which is basically orts or leftover threads with lace over it down the bottom for the tablecloth, and then fabric samples from the reverse art truck. They're Italian cotton and linen samples in stripes and checks, which I collaged and then topped with a piece of lace and then did cantha stitching relatively straight up and down. Relatively, I say. And so yeah, just love this vase, and so I really want to make sure that in selecting my flowers, which is what we're going to do today, that I get something that's going to really complement, not take away from, because I really think I want this vase to kind of be, funnily enough, a bit of a star of the piece. You'd think, oh, the flowers have to be the star of the piece, but I'm just so super thrilled. It's my first time trying this collage quilting technique, and I'm just absolutely in love with how well it worked out. So something else I have been thinking about is that because this bottom section is padded with the orts, I don't want the vase to look like, and you might not be able to see on camera, but I don't want it to look like it steps down and slopes down. So what I've done is cut out a bit of quilt, an old piece of quilt, and cut it out so that it can just sit within the outline of the vase, but not coming all the way out to the edges. And ultimately I'll probably have it so it will finish off where the padding of the table ends, or maybe just come marginally down, so that it then gives me a real sense of the piece actually sitting in front of and above the tablecloth. So I don't want this bit of tablecloth to kind of have the prominence. I want the vase to have that prominence. So I think that's a very handy solution. And obviously I can get that to adhere, get the steamer seam to adhere to the quilt piece, and then I'll need to put another piece of steamer seam probably all the way around the outside. So a little bit more steamer seam, because I really probably, beyond doing some kintsugi stitching to make it look like it's a mended pot, the Japanese style, which I'll do once it's on the piece. I don't, unless I do it while it's on that's another thought. I may do that while it's just on here, because I then don't want it to sort of suction the vase into the piece. So that's something I'll have a little bit of a ponder on, but I'll make sure I share that with you. There's a little bit of me that thinks, oh, the vase looks so good, do I do the kintsugi? But I really wanted to do that Japanese sort of gold mending technique when I started this project off. So we'll ponder. But yeah, that's just a handy solution if you're thinking about how your elements kind of still keep some dimension to them. So next on to selecting flowers, which is a pretty important choice now, because I've also got to think about the background. And that's why the collage quilter actually never does her backgrounds before she does her pieces. In this case, I'm happy to use this one. It's got enough kind of muted tones in it, but I think the stripes go well with the fact that it's going to have floral elements, and also with the fact that this is quite pictorial as well. And we've obviously got the floral elements in the tablecloth, which is a happy choice. So, and I've got a few ideas about what I want to do down on the tablecloth as well. So I can't fit my whole piece in, but I'll just give you a look at the top of it so you know what's sort of up there. And then we'll go through and have a look at some flowers. So the first piece of fabric that I auditioned, and which I think is going to have a role, but not in the vase, I don't think, is this beautiful fabric. It's, I think, from the 1970s. It's screen printed on cotton satin by Sun Lover, and I can't find this exact piece of fabric online, but I've found other ones from Sun Lover, and I think they're from the 70s. And I was so lucky to get over 20 meters of this in someone just getting rid of a range of fabrics on Facebook Marketplace. Now this one was right off to the side, but I spotted it and I said, oh, how much of it do you have? And they said, oh, it's over 20 meters of it. So I ended up getting the other smaller quantities of things they had, but the fact they didn't even sort of show this prominently in the picture when it is just the most beautiful, and I've already started cutting into it for the things I'm doing, but it's just got, yeah, repeated patterns of these gorgeous bouquets, and they're just voluptuous. This really reminds me of Sanderson fabric, so I'm definitely planning on using some of that, and I have actually cut out some of the elements, Fussy cut out some of the elements of that I want to use, so we'll come back to that in a moment. So that made it partially through the cut. Then I have other fabrics that are quite large as well, I think, and I'll talk through some of my rationale as well because I think that's helpful. I thought, yeah, this could go because I like that it's sort of softer colours. It's got some of the nice blues and the blues sort of coming into some of the flowers. So that was what kind of made me think possibly, but I feel it's probably slightly too big for the vase size that I've got. So that discounted that one. Again, it's a beautiful fabric. I think this is actually a Sanderson, this one. Can't even quite remember where I was lucky enough to get that from. Yeah, Chelsea by Arthur Sanderson and Sons Limited, 1988. It says on the selvage, and it's a really beautiful heavyweight, probably a furnishing fabric weight. So that is lovely. Put that down. I also recently got a wonderful lot of a whole lot of vintage tablecloths. In fact, I got a couple of lots. And so I was sort of pondering on something like this, which could look absolutely lovely. I still kind of that's still definitely in the up there. I just thought it might start to take the eye away from the vase. I think I'll definitely use it in something, and I could definitely see me doing some fleur wood sort of style stitching onto it, but I just thought it might be a bit too bright for the vase. The great thing about this tablecloth is it's got that design in four corners. So that's probably in the maybe pile, but unlikely. We'll then go through. Then I have lots of these lovely ones. They've almost got like a treatment or something on the top of them, but you can definitely stitch through them, and the treatment, if anything, helps them not to fray when you fussy cut them. So here's one of the other fabrics that I had already started fussy cutting some bits out of, and I love that it does have a little bit of a sort of a sheen to it. Because I think that just kind of gives the effect sometimes of the leaves and the petals, etc. So I quite liked something like this because it is sort of, it almost looks like they're in relief behind, sort of, they're more muted, I guess. Stronger colours, but the flowers themselves aren't really defined. So something like this, obviously too brown, too grey, not the right size, so that was easy to take out. Something like this, again, I just felt it was maybe a little bit too intense. The colours were just a little bit heavy for what I wanted. It's another grayscale one, but it does have some nice leaves and carnations, but those are probably just a bit too wishy-washy. So it's kind of just a bit like the Goldilocks. It's finding something just right. Again, too small. This one, design not quite the elements. Again, the leaves are probably a little bit too big and dominant. This one has some lovely orchids, which my lovely friend Dottie B's including in hers. But for me, the colour tone's probably not what I want to be having with this piece. Probably a little bit too much of that sort of goldy gold. These, I didn't really feel the attraction to this type of flower. I can't even remember what species this is, so that one got knocked out on that. But these are lovely, beautiful vintage fabrics. Again, something like that could be lovely. And I just sort of had to hold them up against the piece, but I thought maybe that would just be a bit too bright. I just felt maybe that would detract from the overall vase, but it is still nice, so that goes in the maybe part. Then we have this one. Sorry, and they are folded on my cards because that's sort of how I store them. Don't worry about the lines. I was worried maybe the lines that were there when they originally got these vintage fabrics wouldn't come out, but with a bit of a steam iron on the back, they come out just fine, which is great. So again, that's quite pretty, but probably would get a bit washed out with the background. I could obviously over stitch them. I'm thinking I probably won't do too much stitching on the flowers up here, maybe just some more highlighting of them, but then I'm planning something down on the table that I'll talk you through. And then this one, beautiful ferns, but probably a bit too much greenery for what I wanted. This one, these are a bit more sketchy flowers, which I don't really want that effect in my still life. This is another one, quite nice, but not as much of a shape I didn't think of that I wanted to kind of, if I was going to take the whole piece, and given these are kind of arranged as bouquets, I sort of thought, yeah, that makes sense to do it that way, but I wasn't quite sure even which way. I guess it would go up that way probably, but a bit too much green and things down here. This one, quite nice, but again, I felt maybe these flowers would get a little bit washed out. Had then a whole lot of different ones. These I figured were too big. The hydrangea would be rather lovely, and you do get those beautiful blues on it, but I thought maybe a little bit washy out. These are similar to, I think, the ones that I've actually, cut out. Those would be too washy outy. And yeah, I think I said these ones would be a bit too big. These were some fabrics I got recently. Wasn't thinking too much blue because again I just thought that might detract from the vase. This is a lovely fabric. I love the stripes through it. What does it say? Caprice. And again, if I was taking individual elements, but I kind of thought, and I don't think I want them quite as defined as this in the vase. And then these ones, yeah, quite nice again, but it would be a shame to kind of lose them from I like the stripe fabric and the sort of the way that these are like a border but coming out across the border. So I thought I'll keep that fabric as it is. And then this must be an upholstery or maybe like a curtain fabric. And again, I thought these were quite lovely. They do have some of the blues as well. And I did have a look at this sort of with the flowers. Let me just get it so we can have a look together. Find a section where we can, oops, sorry, I just managed to bash the camera stand with my hand. And so again, could be nice. The blues could be good. So that was probably in a maybe category. I think it would fussy cut out quite well. I had other fabrics like this that have flowers on them, but again, yeah, just didn't feel like the colour play was right. Had this fabric with very big flowers on them, so again, I just thought that was too much with the vase. So, in true Goldilocks style, I think I've landed on the one that I want to use, which is this one. And I've actually already put some steamer seam on the back. So it's got the steamer seam paper on it, so it is going to be a tiny bit harder to show you. But essentially, I'm thinking it will fit sort of within the area that I want it to. And I think it will just be a beautiful, it's got a softness to it that I feel complements the vase, but doesn't take away from the vase. And I like it that they look a bit more like they're in the distance. And I'm thinking if this was a still life, looking into it, they wouldn't be so super defined. So I kind of like that they've got a bit of softness to them. Because I also want this piece to be sort of viewed from a ways back, and when I stand from a ways back, I feel like they're kind of playing into how the vase becomes one when you view it from a distance. So I thought we could fussy cut this out, but before I do that, let me show you what my plans are down for the lower section of the piece. So I fussy cut a variety of things because, as I say, I was just playing. I was thinking, oh, do I bring actual embroideries up into the piece? So I have a whole lot of those. But I thought for this one, no, I'll just keep it to a bouquet because, again, I'm just thinking about composition and really thinking about allowing this this vase to star. But what I'm thinking of doing down here, and this is using that beautiful green fabric with the floral bouquets that I got 20 meters of. I'm thinking of using some of the fussy cut ones to start to conjure the sense of flowers sitting on the table behind and around the vase. And I'm thinking these ones I can start to do some more interesting stitching into them. And again, I can sort of play with the design a bit and sit them where it would make sense to kind of, yeah, like with that one where the edge is cut off, I can position that actually under the vase, and then it's like it's just sitting behind it slightly, playing with the contrast of colour as well. But I want it almost to be like someone's come in, they're arranging the flowers in the vase, and they've got some more cut ones, possibly to put in another vase. And so just starting to think about how I probably won't use any two of the same, but how we can start to give a sense of the table really. And so that's why having some sort of up the back as well. I can even use some of the other leaves that I cut out from this other, the more glistening sort of leaves. I can use some of those around here as well. So even having them sort of sitting down here, or I can borrow some of these leaves to have at the bottom of this rose. You probably can't see that. So that's my thinking for the table. And then this is the steamer seam, which I have ironed onto the back, apart from this bit where I accidentally caught it. And so our first step, using our non-good scissors, and I will bring you down so that we are closer together and I can see what you can see, is to cut around. And so there's a tiny bit up here where I don't have the steamer seam, and in fact I don't want to cut my nice flowers that I've got. So I'll just cut around the design in a broad sense. So I probably don't need to make you watch the entire process of the fussy cutting. We'll just get a little bit done and then I can go away and finish that off. So I won't want to rush it. I'll want to get it nice and done. These scissors are actually pretty good. Certainly good for doing these little smaller sections. Just find what works for you. And because I'm putting this onto a sort of a lighter background, I think it will be okay even if there are some slight bits of the lightness of the fabric around. I think that will still work okay. So you can see it is a time-consuming process to do your cutting, a fussy cutting, but it will definitely give us a really lovely effect once everything is all cut around. And with these, I'll just need to be sort of careful that I don't move them too much. So that's probably good that I do the rest sort of like this, and I can get right over the top and be cutting it sort of down on my surface. So I will go away and do that. and then I'll come back and we can start to position the vase and these flowers, and then we can think, I think probably next up then we position the ones below, and then we can think about our stitching into them. Okay, so I'm back and I've fussy cut out this fabric backed with the steamer seam. So some of it I've already peeled the layers off, just to give you an idea of how much I have fussy cut out. That's only part of them, because some of them still have their backing pieces on them. What I discovered as I started to cut it out and started to sort of arrange it or think about it was that I wanted some more pieces to really make the bouquet voluminous. So I used the same piece of fabric and just nibbled more and more into it to take even more parts of it. So you can see just how much I have actually used from the fabric, a whole section over here. So yeah, it's quite an amount of it. And I have also put my piece of patchwork, you can see it's slightly crooked on there, but I don't think that's a problem, on the, not patchwork, but quilting on the back. And then I've added another layer of steamer seam, which I have sealed down, and that will then allow me to now peel it off and position the vase in its entirety. I am still planning to do the kintsugi stitching with gold, and I've picked out from my collection a gold that I think I'm going to use. It's really lovely, and I think I'll couch it down, and the great thing is it's actually quite malleable, and I'll be able to kind of bend it and have it wend around. I think I'll do it on this corner. I think I'll leave this side as it is, but yeah, we'll come back to that probably in another video. So let's keep doing what we're doing. And so today will be all about arranging the flowers, and yeah, just having a lovely time arranging the flowers in the vase. I have also, I'll show you in a moment, so let's just sort of line this up. And so this bit of the padding is just going to sit and join with, and it's kind of good because this just graduates down, join with, and just keep the vase at a sort of consistent and with a slight sort of, curvature, if that makes sense. So let me just pull that up to there. And again, this is only temporarily stuck down, so I can still stick things underneath it. It's just got that temporary adhesive, which will only be finally activated when I give it a really good steaming. The other thing I did when I'd attached this next layer of steamer seam to it was I just gave it another clean, very careful cut around the outside, but it's now got beautiful clean lines all the way around the vase. So I think that's super. So I've put steamer seam also on the back of these ones, which I think are going to be used to decorate down on the table. Again, moving it so that you can actually see what I'm talking about. So yeah, I'm thinking some sort of arrangement of blooms down on the table, probably 3 of them, I think. And this one I think will probably sort of go behind the vase or something like that, because I'm thinking I'm going to have some trailing little tendons of flowers down. So these will be probably the last pieces I place, and that one. So what I might do now is start arranging. So this is my biggest piece. I've already peeled the backing off it, so it's starting to gather things. So again, these just have the temporary adhesive that then gets fully activated when you apply steam. And I don't want to obscure too much of my vase with any of these arrangements, because I just love the vase. So again, the benefit is I can just position it and then see how it looks. I've got this one. I've just got so many things over here. Some of them are stuck to each other. Thinking, where would that look good? I'm wondering if I want to just sort of tuck that in. Really happy as well with how this fabric with that slight coating on it is going. I think it's just working really well. So I only just need to marginally overlap them. It's a bit like doing a puzzle, a 3D puzzle. And then I'll probably want much more coming out this side as well. So we might quite like that one. one maybe up here. I want to have those little pops of blue because that goes with the vase. Don't want to lose those leaves entirely, and that's a bit too much same, so maybe I would put it over here. It's actually good because the leaf gives us a little bit of bluiness. And then this one, thinking that could actually maybe nestle in up here. Could even pop a bit more. It's got enough contrast, I think, with those flowers. And I'm just thinking about where the little leaves, I have cut some of the leaves off the little bouquets. Wondering where would that one go? We want it sort of sitting in here. Don't want anything sort of crammed in, but I do want a real sense of sort of voluptuousness. Or might they go up there? What else have I got? Sometimes if you're stuck, it's good to just move on to another bloom. Now this one would give me a bit of contrast, a bit of blue over here. Again, just positioning them so you kind of maximize their size. These ones I think would be lovely sort of as little dangly ones coming down. Just move my light over a bit more as well. I'm just worried it might be a little bit not great lighting, being evening again. It's still a lovely evening outside, been super hot today. We've still got the heat wave conditions tomorrow. I'm filming this on Monday night. The training I was going to be going in to work for tomorrow has been cancelled because of the extreme weather conditions. And then I think we've got thunderstorms coming after that. Yeah, don't mind that. We'll have to find something to sort of put into that little area. I think the sort of rosebuds are quite nice to pop out the top. This one could be another good little trailing one. I feel like maybe these ones need to go up here. What do we think? Yep, I've already got the backing off those. It's just a matter of what sits in front of what. But I love how you can just kind of overlap and move around and nestle. I suppose it's okay if I see a bit of the background fabric through. I suppose it doesn't have to be totally because you can be seeing through to the wall. Sorry, you can't see up the top, so I'll just move it down a bit where I put that one. This one again could be quite nice to trail down, although it could also go up, couldn't it? This one goes together. I just had to sort of cut it out, I think so. Does it go that way? No. There? Somehow it goes together. Oh no, there, like that. So I don't know, maybe that could, no. I feel like I need to bring some other little colours into the mix, so we might give that one or this one a bit of a go. Maybe I'll separate this one into two bits. It'll just give me a bit more variety. And as I say, I don't have to stick with the one pattern. If I don't like this when it's all laid out, I can definitely go on and do something else. I might use that one there, and then I might sit this one up here. then it's like just a little branch of them really. In fact, maybe this one can nestle up, and then maybe I will actually just put a, don't think I need its little leaf. Maybe its leaves are good. Not sure. I think I'll put that one behind, hoping you can still see okay. And then we'll just have to put a bit of leaf or something into that section there. So I can probably do that with these ones. So I just think maybe a little bit of leafage. And again, sit that one, because I want that one to kind of be popping out. It reminds me of a red cosmos. You really only get the pinky cosmos, but it could be something else. Where do I want this one? Do I want that one sort of down? I think it'd be nice because then it will have a bit more of the reddy colours. I probably don't need it all in its, probably don't need all the plant. So I'll just take these little bits off for now. So where does this go again? Like that. So I'll put this one in first. And then we'll just have a play around with how we position them. It's probably going to crowd that one a bit. Oops, where was it? Or I could just use it singly and then use the other one poked under something. I think that might be a better solution. I think we'll put that one at the 4, like that. Yeah, I think that's nice. And then maybe we'll put this other little one coming. Just need to sort of hide the little bit where it was originally joining on to the other one. Don't need actually the whole stem. And then, yeah, I'm thinking these will trail. But maybe we want some other little bits sort of coming out. Or we can have some lovely leaves, because we have quite a lot of leaves up there and not as many down here. And they are beautiful leaves. They've got lovely colours in them. Okay, I'll peel this off its backing so we can just start to have a play with how that one's going to cascade down. Just loving the colours in the flowers on this. I think it's just going to, yeah, work well for the vision that I had for the piece. So I'm going to tuck this bit under that one. And then, do I have any more of this trailiness? No, not really. But maybe just not sure whether I want something else. Maybe a leaf. That one's already got its backing off. Maybe a leaf or something coming there, and then the trailing can come down from behind that. Sorry, and I'll just move it up so you can see what I'm doing. Just sat down because my back was getting a bit sore standing up, not sure why. Oh yeah, and I do have another bit of the traily stuff over here. Is it all peeled off? Yes, it is all peeled off. It just doesn't feel as sticky, but I'm sure it will activate. Actually, I don't mind if that one's just a bit more, just wending its way across, and then we might use this little bit, maybe coming down from behind this one. Yeah. This is so much fun. I cannot tell you how much fun I'm having. And I love that I'm not having to use pins, and I love that it's just so easy to move around, and also that the steamer seam is stopping any fraying of the edges. That's why I ended up applying it to these pieces, because they were actually starting to fray, but as soon as I applied it, Bob's your uncle, as per a very Australian saying, which kind of means it's, I don't know exactly what Bob's your uncle means, but it kind of has the connotation that, yep, it's sorted. And Bob's your uncle. I suppose because Bob was such a common name in Australia. I think that's why. I'll have to look up the meaning afterwards. So again, I think I want to put something in here so that we can sort of cascade down from the area. I think that's okay actually, and I might even, don't know, do I want to put that leaf over the, I don't know, I don't want to cover up that bit of the vase. I like that bit of the vase, so I'm going to leave it out. And so yes, I will just put this behind, and then yeah, our little cascading. So I'm just checking you can see, yes. I think this one can then come down from there. Hopefully you can hear me. I've got the camera much higher up so that I could show you. So glad I didn't do an even bigger canvas, because this is big enough for me. Big enough for me and my craft desk. Okay, so I'm going to stand up and get a bit more perspective on it as well, because sometimes you do need to do that. I feel like we still need to kind of bring some things out from this side, I think. And it may well be, who knows, I may even end up cutting out more and coming further out from the bouquet. I could always take maybe one of the ones from, although that's up there, isn't it? But I think that is probably a little bit samey, but maybe if I separate it with something. Oops, that's gone like that. Yeah, not sure. Maybe some leaves. That might help actually. That helps to just bring us out. It's amazing actually how the leaves just kind of give you that little bit of extension. But that space is sort of, it gives you extension, but it's not all crammed with flowers. Yeah. Actually wondering, oh no, that's part of the original big piece. I could always cut it if I did want to. Oh, I've got another one here. Almost forgot about this one. So maybe that one can actually go up in the top. Can you see up there? No, probably not. So we'll move you down again. Apologies. Don't want you to miss out on the fun. Probably again, don't need to keep the whole stem on at this stage. If I need the stem, I'll keep it over there, but I think we'll be right. Yes, we do put it a bit higher up and then put another leaf or something into there. Got a leaf. Got that leaf up there. What else have I got? Otherwise I will need to nestle it back down, I think. Or maybe I can put it on the angle like that. That's quite good. Don't mind that actually. Sort of nestling in up there. And then we do have these little rose buds. I've still got this one as well. Unless that does go back up there where I had it. Maybe that does. Because it does actually fit in quite nicely up there, I think. Can't even remember if that's where I originally had it. But what I might do is borrow off it this little cluster of leaves. Probably still need to actually leave those ones. But maybe put them on a slightly different angle. And then where was I going to put this one? Maybe a bit of greenery coming out from here. And then where do we want this one? Maybe over here. I still feel like then we probably need to have something extending us out this way. Where do I want the blue? Maybe the blue here. So it's not only shapes, it's colour distribution, lots of considerations. Yeah, and I just like, when I make bouquets, I quite like them to have this sort of wildness to them, voluptuousness and wildness are my bouquet vibes. The more they can kind of, yeah, poke out a little bit and have their own little, like that. And then I think, yeah, we'll use this one on the other side, and then we've actually got another one over here, and we've also still got a few little, oh, maybe another one over here too, and we've got some leaves. And yeah, I still do have enough fabric left as well, that if I do decide I want more pieces, and this will be the sort of thing that tonight I'll just probably leave this sitting before I do the final sort of iron down, to make sure I'm happy with it, because I can come back in the morning and have a look and then ponder it during the day, and then in the evening I can come back and do some further rejigging. Give it a full 24 hours to kind of percolate. So going almost up to the top of the piece. I'm not planning, I don't think, with these pieces. I might end up stretching them on a canvas, but if I do, I'll attach this fabric to another piece of fabric to then stretch around, I think. So I don't mind if I go sort of right out to the borders. I might take this bit separately, put that bit like that. This bit just coming up from here. Where are we going to put this one? Do we want one coming sort of round like that, or do we need something over here? Oh, and we've got another one here actually, so maybe small one up there and bigger one there, although we haven't got anything coming over there, have we? But we could, so maybe we'll do a little spray. And do we want this one coming out something like that? I think so. I think so. I think so. Just love that we've got, I think we've got 4 weeks for this prompt, haven't we? So week 1 is past, but now we have 3 more weeks. I'm pretty happy with the progression. Not going to rush. Just going to enjoy. There is no scarcity in this slow stitching world. It is a bountiful, plentiful world. It takes some more time, but I'm still very happy with the time that I get in the evenings. Is that where I was going to put that one? I think so. Yes. Okay, and then we've got some softer, these are the sort of leaves that go with these ones down here. So I probably do need to put them down. I don't obviously have to use everything that I've cut out, but I think this one could probably have another leaf into the mix. And just got some more little leaves. Oh, and I've still got these down here. Bonus. So I'll pop this one up here. Where do we want this yellow? This one's already had its backing taken off. We have yellow there, yellow there, yellow there. Do we want to put a yellow one up here somehow? Oh, that one hasn't been put on either. So the yellow one could sort of come out from behind there, or out from there. Yeah, maybe out from there actually. Just put it behind. And we've got this one. It's funny, like the other ones were so hard to get off their fabric, but, or not their fabric, their backing, but these ones are popping right off. Now, where do I feel I want to have a little sprig of something? Where do we put it up here? Hope I'm not getting my head under. You're getting my arm looking very big there. I feel like that's a bit crowded, so maybe over from behind here. Yes. So you just know when it gets somewhere, you're like, yep, that's where it needs to be. Now, oh, there's a gap here, isn't there? Or did I move that? Oh no, that's the gap that I think I'd left before. So what I think I'm going to do is I'll take that leaf off. I'll put this leaf. I think I just need to take that little probably shouldn't be cutting it when it's actually partially stuck down, but needs, want, must. And then where does this one want to go? Could actually, where I've used a smaller one around there, we could have a bigger one. I was worried it might not all affix to this sort of lace on a fabric background, but so far so good. It's just got a little edge of fabric. Put that one there. Got another little bud which has already been peeled off. Or maybe over here actually, it's looking a little bit not quite wild enough over here. And what else? What else? Can you hear the cicadas? You probably can. You normally can when I ask. I do like them. Okay, so I think we have a lot of backing paper. We've not left any flowers untouched, and I am pretty. Let me see if I can move it and give you a bit of a better view without giving you a total view of the mess of my desk. So yeah, I am pretty happy with that actually. Pretty happy with the balance, and pretty happy that the vase is still given its real prominence and beauty. In fact, it's really interesting where I put the steamer seam on the back of here. It's actually sort of like sunken the little bit of quilted piece down a bit, but I think it's still fine because these vases actually do kind of go out and then come round a bit. So I think that's actually not a problem. I just didn't want to have kind of a line or anything where this section sort of stepped down a bit. But I think that's fine. I love these little trailing bits. So I think the next step is to decide where we want to have the flowers down on the table, which obviously I could have it without that, but I just thought what fun to have it look like there's still flowers, maybe to be arranged in another vase, and they've just been sat upon the table, or maybe they're going to be floated in one of those little bowls that you can float flowers in, so they've been trimmed off. So thinking the 3 plus some leaves. I just love it. And so this one I'm thinking, and I haven't taken the backing off, so that's probably first step. Take the backing off, Christine. Oh, and funniest thing, in this room, I'd been noticing that my aircon just wasn't cooling it down as much as I thought it should. And so I mentioned it to Alex, and he said, oh no, we'll probably have to get the aircon repairman out. Maybe it's sort of run out of its gases, etc. Anyway, because I love YouTube and it's filled with wonderful people with helpful videos, I looked up YouTube and it said, have you cleaned your filters on your air conditioner? And I thought, I don't think I've ever cleaned a filter on an air conditioner. Granted, these are only a few years old, hence why I thought they should be still working pretty well. And yeah, it turned out they were, the carpet up here, it's a really beautiful wool carpet that Alex put in the house when he had the house built. Beautiful, thick and plush, but I think it puts out a lot of fibres. Alex blames my fabrics, could be. Anyway, it was, yeah, the filters were absolutely clogged, and so took them out, followed the video on YouTube, it was spot on, and took them out and gave them a wash, dried them, which they dried so quickly. And yeah, the aircon is working so well, although I turned it off to do this video because it was so cold when I came back to the room. But I think I will have to put it on afterwards because it's going to stay warm, warm, warm tonight before further heatwave conditions tomorrow. So just thinking of everyone, hoping everyone is safe, thinking of our friends in other parts of Australia where there's flooding going on, and thinking of our friends in other parts of the world that are having challenges too. So don't mind if these end up sort of sitting a bit behind as though they're on the table, and that will give them a sense of this sort of trailing backwards, or the table kind of not trailing backwards, but sitting. So it's just going to be about where do I want my pieces? Nope, not like that. Maybe a bit more. Maybe I do have them in a little cluster, and maybe this just moves a little bit. Do we think? Again, I'm using the technique of looking through the camera because sometimes that does really help. And the reason I'm kind of happy if these are a bit more vibrant than the ones in the vase is these are probably the ones I'll do more intense stitching on. I think I will still do some stitching up on these, even though I just love them as they actually currently are. But for sure I'm going to do some quite intense stitching down on these, and probably even some beading and other things. So I think I like this one. Do I think it needs to move at all? I just want to cover this little bit for some reason. I mean, I can always cover it with thread. It doesn't really matter. I quite like that. And I think I do like that, unless I put this more over here and then have this more up here. Sorry, and you still can't see the bottom. There we go. No, no, no. So move it back a bit further. I think I like that. Yeah, I think I like that actually. That gives a sense of the vase forward on the table. Unless I want to kind of come down and sometimes it's the last little bits where you're kind of thinking, what do I want to do? So then that would be like, this one was forward on the table, this one was behind, this one's behind. Only other possibility would be to think about switching sides. How does that work? Again, I just think I'll probably, yeah, stitch into that, so that's okay. And so then I think if I had this one here, oops, there's a thread. And I suppose if I want to stitch into them, then they probably do need to be more in the foreground of the picture. Otherwise, I'd have to be sort of, yeah, doing less stitching on them. So I think I will actually keep them down here as though they are in the foreground. What do you think? So yeah, I think I'm going to mull on that overnight. Let me just give you a proper view from the very bottom. Let me get these bits out of the way. Oh, and I haven't put these on, and I was thinking that I would put those with this one. So maybe this one does need to move up a smidgeroo. Maybe it needs to turn a bit. I don't have to use these leaves, obviously. Maybe I only need the 2 of them, or maybe I use the other one for something else here. It's going to be hanging down where my little trailing, oh sorry, you can't see, going to be hanging down where my little trailing edge is, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. And then this one. So bring it up where you can see it again. So just put that leaf down there, or do I want it just to, maybe I just want it to come down here. Yeah, I don't think I mind that actually, unless I felt I needed a leaf over this side. Do I want a little leaf? Maybe I do want a little leaf coming out of there, or maybe I just have one leaf here. One nice big leaf that catches some of the pinky tones. And then maybe what do we think? What do we think? What do we think? Yeah, I think I'll ponder on that. Happy with the trailing, and I think I'm really happy with the, oh, this one's worked its way out in the process. Just give them a press down, but yeah, I won't do further ironing of them till I'm happy that my composition is as I want it to be. But I think that's looking lovely. I would love to have that on my wall, and I'm going to have that on my wall. And yeah, let's hope I can do it justice in the stitching. There's probably a few adjustments, like I can see a bit of the background through there, so I will probably just like it'll take a bit to bring a piece down or add another bit of leafage in there, but I'll do that off camera. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this has given you some inspiration. It just made me so happy how many people were inspired by the vase. That's when I get my most joy, when people will take an idea, something I've shared, and then go and play with it themselves. That's what I'm here for, to share with this beautiful community. So thank you for being with me, and thank you for all your support, and I will talk to you soon. Bye everyone.